Hello everyone and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are returning to Texas to look at the deaths of 53 migrants in the back of a truck in San Antonio, Texas, who were transiting across the US-Mexican border. Now yes, this video will discuss the movement of migrants, including illegal immigration between Mexico and Central America and the United States of America. However, please don't forget before you all comment that these are human beings who are looking for a better life and the things that we all take for granted. And honestly, if you're watching this, regardless of where you all are or who you all are, odds are that if you go back far enough, someone in your family is an immigrant who had the same goals and values or was escaping the same thing as these 53 individuals were, in finding the same level of safety or socio-economic benefits that your family was. Personally, I am a migrant myself from Australia living in the UK, albeit legal and with an Irish passport, with one parent who was a migrant and two of my grandparents were migrants, and furthest back I can go in Australia was about 4 generations before the family tree heads back to Ireland. So we are all children of migrants, or children of children of children of children of migrants, whether you like it or not. Now, I will always leave comments on in my video because we live in a free world with freedom of speech, and unless you all address me or ask a question, I will rarely comment. However, please note that this ain't One American News, Newsmax or Fox News, so if you don't want to show sympathy towards the victims and address them as aliens or say that they deserve what they got, there's other videos on those organisations that will be far more to your taste. So yes, the comments are on, and I will never turn them off or remove them unless they are spam. However, before you all comment, please don't forget that these were human beings. Have some kindness and sympathy. Remember where you or your parents or your grandparents or your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents came from. Now, 2022 has seen a record number of crossings between the US-Mexico border, with more than 2 million arrests by US Customs and Border Protection officers, a record, with 239,416 of these arrests occurring in May 2022. San Antonio is a major transit point for migrants moving from Texas to the rest of the United States of America, and is located 150 miles or 240 kilometers from the US-Mexico border. The red tractor-trailer was driven by Homero Zamorano Jr., who was aged 45. Exactly what his motivations were and how much he was going to be paid is unknown. Initially from Brownsville, Texas, and residing in Pasadena, Texas, he was high on meth while driving the truck and had a past history of drug use and arrests. The tractor-trailer was initially believed to have originated from South Texas and was operating under the guise of Betancourt Trucking and Harvesting. It had the same colour and identifying numbers from the Federal Department of Transportation and Betancourt Trucking and Harvesting trucks. However, a diagnostics test of the truck by the Texas Trucking Association revealed that the truck did not come from Betancourt Trucking and Harvesting. Christian Martinez, who was 28 years old, of Palestine, Texas, was seen as the primary organizer and had previously been involved in the transportation of migrants. He texted Zamorano Jr. a manifest for the truck and a location of Laredo, Texas, which is on the border with Mexico and most likely where migrants were collected from. The migrants were headed towards Houston, Texas. A survivor claimed that the migrants were waiting in a warehouse on the Texas side of the US-Mexico border when their cell phones were confiscated and they were loaded into a truck with chicken bouillon covering the floor of the truck, with no food and water beyond the water bought by other migrants. The truck made multiple stops to pick up additional migrants. However, gradually the back of the truck became hotter and hotter, with a lack of air conditioning and water in 100 Fahrenheit or 38 degrees centigrade, leading people inside to begin to suffer heat strokes, asphyxiation and die, as survivors clumped by the doors to the trailer where it was warmer. According to Zamorano Jr., he was unaware that the truck's air conditioning was not functioning in the trailer. On the 27th of June 2022, the tractor-trailer was discovered on 9600 block of Quintana Road by workers from a nearby business on a road parallel to Interstate 35, with a call received shortly before 6 p.m. from a person nearby who heard a cry from inside the truck for help. It was found found that 65 people were in the trailer, with 49 dead, having spent 4 hours in the sweltering trailer. Bodies were stacked up inside the tractor trailer, with the doors partially ajar. San Antonio police arrived and prioritized finding those who were alive, with canine searches for additional victims who had left the truck attempting to find assistance, but no one else was found. Zamorano Jr. was seen attempting to flee the area and was later found by a police helicopter. He was found hiding in a bush by San Antonio police and attempted to pass himself off as a legal immigrant who was one of the victims. Survivors were taken to Baptist Health System, with a further 3 passing away later on the 27th of June 2022 and 1 additional individual passing away on the 28th of June 2022. 16 other injured survivors, 12 adults and 4 children who would survive, were taken to other medical facilities. As of the recording of this video, 2 remain in hospital. Of those who passed away, 40 were men and 13 were women. 27 were from Mexico, 14 were from Honduras, 7 from Guatemala and 2 from El Salvador. Obviously, we can't tell the story of each of these migrants and their motivations. However, one was Javier-Flores Lopez, aged in his mid-30s, initially from Cerro Verde in Oaxaca, Mexico, who illegally resided in Ohio with his father and brother and worked in construction before briefly returning to see his wife and 3 children. Joined by 32-year-old Jose Luis Vasquez Guzman, Guzman hoped to join his oldest brother, who also lived in Ohio. Both men would return to Oaxaca in the south of Mexico in body bags, having died in the back of a trailer. Another 2 were Alejandro Miguel Andino Caballero and his girlfriend Margie Tamara Paz Grajeda, who travelled with Caballero's brother Fernando Redondo Caballero in search of a better life in their native Mexico, with the 3 dying in the back of a truck. Another 2 were cousins, Juan Wilmer Tulierte Paz, aged 14, and Pascual Melvin Guachiac Sipac, aged 13, who travelled from Tuzucupal, Guatemala, to join relatives in Houston, who were supposed to pick the boys up. The last message sent by Wilmer to his mother, Magdalena Tepaz, was, "Mum, we're heading out." Both boys would die in the back of a truck. I do hope that this helps you all to humanise these victims and not just see them as a statistic or number or as illegal aliens, but as actual human beings. The final list of the names of the victims was released on the 6th of July 2022, the youngest of whom was 13 and the oldest was 55. One day after the truck was found, 4 individuals, Zamorano Jr., Martinez, Juan Francisco de Luna Bilbao, and Juan Claudio de Luna Mendez, were taken into custody, where they remain with their cases ongoing. The connection to de Luna Bilbao and de Luna Mendez was found because their home addresses were used to register the tractor trailer. Dulana Bilbao and Dulana Mendez were both charged with possession of a weapon by an illegal alien, with both Mexican citizens who illegally overstayed their tourist visa, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. On the 30th of June 2022, they were all charged by the Justice Department, with Zamorano Jr. charged with 1 count of alien smuggling resulting in death. On the 20th of July 2022, a federal grand jury in San Antonio returned an indictment on Zamorano Jr. and Martinez, with 1 count of conspiracy to transport illegal aliens resulting in death, 1 count of transportation of illegal aliens resulting in death, 1 count of conspiracy to transport aliens resulting in serious bodily injury and placing lives in jeopardy, 1 count of transportation of illegal aliens resulting in serious bodily injury and placing lives in jeopardy. The maximum penalty is life in prison, with the US Attorney General having the discrepancy to decide if the circumstances warrant the death penalty, which remains active in Texas. The case provoked an incredible outpouring of grief from the Hispanic community in San Antonio, with the Consul General of the Mexican Consulate of San Antonio inundated with concerned phone calls from family members of migrants who were concerned that their relatives might be among the victims. The consulates of Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador and Nicaragua all worked together to ensure repatriation of the 53 victims. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador lamented the deaths and said that the tragedy was a manifestation of desperation on the part of the victims and also denounced human trafficking. Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei asked that punishments for human trafficking be increased and made an extraditable crime. President of the United States of America Joe Biden called the incident horrifying and heartbreaking, blaming people smugglers. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who was a bit of a bloody idiot, and Republican Senator Ted Cruz blamed the open border policies of Joe Biden, arguing that President Biden had refused to implement the law, with Governor Abbott announcing on the 29th of June 2022 that Texas would add truck checkpoints and that the Department of Public Safety would create a new strategy which would target trucks similar to the one used. Additionally, 2 strike teams would be created to detect, deter, and apprehend unlawful crossings, with teams deployed to the border town of Eagle Pass. However, Governor Abbott had reduced checks on trucks at the America-Mexico border in April 2022. Governor Abbott's actions were criticized by the sheriff of Bexar County, Javier Salazar, for turning the tragedy into one big campaign stunt, and Salazar wrote to President Biden complaining that Governor Abbott had used the trailer tragedy to gain political points. However, it is worth pointing out that despite the blame Senator Cruz and Governor Abbott placed on President Biden's border policy, this is far from the first tragedy involving dead migrants found in the back of a truck in Texas, and other incidents have occurred under Republican presidents. On the 23rd of July 2017, during the Trump administration, 39 migrants were found in a tractor-trailer in a Walmart parking lot, with 10 having died from heat exposure and asphyxiation, and in a tragic irony, the truck was found only 4 miles or 6.4 kilometers from where the tractor-trailer truck was found, involved in this case. Additionally, on the 13th of May 2003, Tyrone M. Williams was paid $7,500 to transport 39 migrants from southeast Texas, 120 miles north, through a Border Patrol checkpoint. However, plans went awry when 2 of the smugglers, who were supposed to take over from Williams, were arrested, and he was ordered to drive an additional 200 miles to Houston, Texas. Victims ended up in 173-degree Fahrenheit, or a phenomenal 78 degrees Celsius heat, leading victims to kick holes into the walls, claw at the insulation, and scream for help. 19 migrants were found dead in the back of a truck, with Williams sentenced to life in prison. This incident occurred under the watch of Republican President George Bush Jr. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to inform yourself of when new videos come out. Also, why not hit that like button and leave a nice comment? It helps more than you know, and your support is truly, truly appreciated. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, have an amazing day, and remember, the truth is always more interesting than fiction.